Alright, so this is the first battle report that I've prepared for 2010. It was actually also the last game that I played for 2009, and this was a campaign game. Not too sure if you're familiar with the Mighty Empire's campaign rules, but you can get different events for your army for one particular turn. These events can severely weaken your enemy, or you can use it to boost your own army. In this case, I've got Mercenary Force, and that allows me to get an extra 200 points onto my army. Now, this was perfect because I was also treating this as a practice game for DogCon, where Orcs get an extra 250 points to use. I did have a 2,500 point army list, but I left the chariot at home for the shaman that's sitting there on the right hand side. So I had actually less points than what I intended to use. Now the army list I'm using, while not giving away too much, it's pretty much the same list that I used for Moab 2009. A few changes here and there. Yeah, but I won't go into too much detail with that. In this picture you can see Steve's army. He's got the unit of Black Knights with the White King. In front of them is the 5 Dire Wolves, the Vargulf hiding behind the forest. 2 units of Skellies, one unit of 15, the other unit of 20. 2 units of Corpse Carts with the Unholy Lodestone. And you can see in between the Corpse Carts he's got the Graveguard, which he was using as a bunker for his lord. And in this picture you can see he's also got 2 units of Crypt Ghouls that is deployed on the far left hand side. In terms of characters, I remember he had 4 characters. I can't really remember the magic items they had, but pretty much stock standard vampire army list where he's just tooled up for magic. He's got a couple of bound items. I think the standard, which casts Van Hills. He's got the Ghoulkin, and that allows his 2 units of Crypt Ghouls to make 1 normal movement during the start of the game. The roll off to see who would go first. I actually got the choice to go first or second, and I'm one of those guys who's always prepared to go second. So I was pretty hesitant whether I wanted to go first or not. In the end, I felt as though the extra round of shooting and the maneuvering of my units early on in the game would help me big time. So I took the first turn. Animosity, the only thing that squabbled was the unit of Night Goblins. The Squeaker Herd surged forward 6 inches, so they were getting up there too. Didn't cast anything on my magic phase, but in the shooting phase I overshot with the Rock Lobber, which I intended to shoot his small unit of Skellies. They overshot, hit his Graveguard unit, managed to kill 4 of them, so yeah, that wasn't too bad. My Speed Shark on the left hand side managed to take out 2 Crypt Ghouls. Now, on Steve's first turn, he's moved up his Black Knights to the forest, threatening to charge that unit of Wolf Riders there. As you do, no charges in the first turn. During his magic phase, he's tried to cast Van Hills on that unit of Black Knights to charge into the Wolf Riders, and managed to dispel that with ease. Everything else he tried to cast either to summon an undead horde or raise zombies, and the only piece of magic that got through was in this picture here. He raised the unit of zombies, acting as basically a speed hump for the giant. You can see in this picture he's moved up his dire wolves. He's threatened to charge the Doom Diver, which I've wrongfully misplaced during the game. I think if I had my deployment choices all over again, I definitely wouldn't have put the Doom Diver there. But anyway, I did have a plan in flanking the direwolves with the wolf fighters there. Of course, you wouldn't really rely on goblins passing their feed test, but didn't have to worry about their feed test because they ended up squabbling and didn't get a charge reaction off. I was going to charge the snotlings onto the flank of them, but having a look, they didn't have line of sight to them. The 90-degree arc was just out. So I had to rely on another means to try and get rid of them, and that was to try and shoot the Doom Diver, but ended up misfiring. Anyway, during my charges, I've charged the giant onto the speed bump of 6 zombies, and I've charged the Squeaker, wanting to do the Squeak Bomb as early as possible while my units are still behind. Yeah, what I did forget to mention was that he did get his always strike first spell off the corpse cut around onto that unit. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's I think every 6 inches. If you're a unit within 6 inches of the corpse cut, you get to always strike first. So anyway, nothing doing in the magic and shooting phase for me. So straight to combat. I did the giant first. He's knocked off the zombies with ease with a swing with club. Um, Rolled for overrun and rolled 10 inches, and where you see him in this picture is where he ended up. So I was just an inch short of getting into the flank of the skeletons. Anyway, his vampire has hacked up some squigs. Same with the skeletons there, and I didn't do much in return with the squig herd. I think I killed maybe one skeleton and one champion, and that was it. Lost combat, and they fled. And when they flee, they go boom. And with the squig bomb, I've rolled like 9 inches, and it's gone through 5 of his own units, including the skeleton warrior there, the Vargulf, the corpse guard, and the other unit of skeleton warriors there. So I did it on my giant first, and I rolled like 4, and failed to wound it as well. So that was great. I didn't wound the giant. I did a couple of wounds here and there with the skeletons. Didn't do anything with the corpse cart. But in this picture, you can see I've done quite a bit of damage to his black knights. I rolled a 6, and rolled quite a few 3-ups because that's what I needed. And he's done very poorly with his armor save. So Steve lost quite a few black knights. Alright, on Steve's second turn, he's declared a charge with his black knights onto the snotlings, and he got within 8 inches of the night goblins, triggered them, and when I wanted to roll low, I rolled high to see how far the fanatics would go, and both of them crashed through my snotling unit and through his black knight unit. Wiped out my snotlings. Yeah, but I wasn't. I was expecting that. I have to be honest with you. After both of them plowed through, I did only knock off one black knight. Now I'm not too sure what the rule is here, but we wanted to know whether or not you could use the enemy in the way rule and redirect his charge of the black knights straight onto the night goblins. In the end, we decided that yeah, he could, because the snotlings are no longer there, and instead of a failed charge, I let him charge through. And thinking that my static res against his black knights would do well. His second charge, as you do, he's charged these dire wolves into the doom diver, and failed my fear test, and they ran off the table. So they're going to spend a turn knocking off that war machine. And you can see in the background the goblins and the wolves just bickering amongst themselves. And of course his other charges with the giant out there, out in the open. He charged his Vargulf and his unit of 15 skellies with another character. He's got them in there. He's charged the giant onto the flank. And yeah, that wasn't looking too good. Magic phase was a lot better for Steve this turn. He's pulled out a unit of zombies with the Summon Undead Horde right in front of the Spider Riders. And he's also used the Van Hell's banner onto them and declared a charge of the Spider Riders, which I promptly declared a flee with. And you can see in this picture they fled through the Rock Lobber. Now because the Rock Lobber has a bully, it doesn't cause any panic on the Goblin crew. So it's a failed charge, landing the zombies right in front of the Savage Orc Borbor unit. So with Steve feeling a bit of luck going his way with the good magic phase, we've gone straight to the combat, and this is where you'd think the Vargulf would do very well against the giant, but in the end it only managed to give it one wound. He's managed to hit with all the dice, given that the Vargulf's got hatred. When it came to wound, he needed 4s, and he rolled plenty of 1s and 2s, so I was lucky in that respect. His skeleton warriors, they hit also, but just couldn't wound the big fella. So 1 wound onto the giant, and managed to pass my break test, and the giant didn't fall over when it came to see whether he would or not after losing the combat.